if you're going to start something, if you can understand that it's going to be 10 times harder than what you think it is, if you can just prepare your mind to understand that, you'll make it. I don't feel like any woman should ever completely rely on a man because you just never know. And if something does happen, you need to be able to take care of yourself, because living with family and friends is good temporarily, but you will get tired of it and you will want to not rely on anyone. We were talking to someone who bought a folding mattress on Amazon that folded into 3 parts.
I want to be there, like when she says that somebody to be like.
And I unfolded it, and me and my toddler were sleeping on it in my grandma's living room while I was like coming up with these business ideas.
Hi everyone, I'm Karina Reyna. I'm a family law attorney at Reyna Law.
Hi everyone, I'm Heidi Castañeda, the paralegal and office manager at Reyna Law.
On Drama in Session, we talk about what family law really looks like once the paperwork is filed and the emotions are high.
We spill a little tea from our caseload because family law can get messy, but the bigger goal is to talk honestly about what people are actually going through when they find themselves in the middle of legal and emotional chaos.
Through our conversations, topics, and guest speakers, we break down what's really happening behind the scenes and help you make sense of the conflict, the court process, and everything in between, so you're not walking through it feeling lost or alone.
Welcome to Drama in Session.
Hi guys, welcome to Drama in Session with Karina
and Heidi.
Today we have a very special guest, SoCal photographer, social media baddie. Everyone say hi to Sabrina.
Hi.
Hi, Sabrina. She's a little shy, but give her a camera and she will not be shy. Trust me.
She was like, I'm used to being behind the camera.
Yeah, I'd rather be behind it.
We kind of tricked her into doing this. We were like, come take our pictures at the studio, but look cute. And she's like, why do I have to look cute? Well, we were so interested in hearing about your story because I know that you have a child and you currently co-parent with your child's father. So tell us a little bit about that and how it all has been working out for you.
Yeah, so it was a journey, definitely. We actually were cohabitating together when I started my idea that I was going to make it on my own. And that was really hard because we were living together, but not together.
And a lot of our clients do that, but then a lot of them still carry the resentment of the relationship.
Yeah.
So how did you guys separate
It was honestly the hardest thing that I ever did, like living there. Because we would still, for our son, because we both love our son very much. And so we would still even take him places together, like the park, or we would go to breakfast. But like in my head, I just knew like this wasn't going to be my forever family. And it was hard, but I did tell myself like, just build this business. Like, you know, he was taking care of all the bills while I was living there. So it was a good opportunity for me to kind of just like take it slow, be intentional.
Work on yourself.
Work on myself. And little by little, like every weekend, I would just be escaping to my photo shoots. And I don't know if he knew, because our relationship wasn't really healthy. It was on and off for like 7 years. And all of a sudden, I just entered this era of consistency. And I was like shooting every weekend. And I don't know if he really thought like, if I'm just going to these little photo shoots, but while I was going, I was actually building something huge.
You really were.
And it allowed me to build my dream life, which sounds really cheesy, but I really did like write down exactly the kind of life that I wanted to have. And it literally happened, but it wasn't easy.
It's not. And it's funny because this morning I was just listening to the Mel Robbins podcast, and she was talking about how intentional you have to be even with your manifestations. Like you have to write down, but you don't just write down the end goal. Like I want a beach house, or, you know, I want to be rich and famous. Like you just write down what you need to do to get there, and then you really feel it, and then you put in the work. And I'm like, yeah, that's literally what manifestation is you writing it down, seeing it, and then being like, how am I going to get there? What do I need to do? And that's exactly what you did.
And sometimes you don't see the progress until you, like you said, look back and you're like, no, that I'm here with all these followers now, right? I think a lot of our businesses rely on social media. We get a lot of clients from TikTok, actually.
We do. Some of them are interesting.
Yeah,
that's
so
funny.
it is. You're building and you're networking as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say, like, just being a mom in general is difficult and it's a job, right? Even if you're a stay-at-home mom, like, it's still super difficult. And then you have the mom who does go to the 9 to 5 and she's still a mom. And then you have the mom that is running a business. And so, like, there is no 9 to 5, it's 24/7. And so, you know, I am single. My son is 5. He started kindergarten this year. So it was a huge year for us last year because I moved out, I got our own little place, and then he started kindergarten, and then my business just started taking off. So it was just like a big year. It all just kind of happened right away. And I think the one thing that really helped me was I heard something on TikTok. And
shout out to TikTok.
Yes.
Sponsor us.
And it was a famous saying that a lot of entrepreneurs use. And if you're going to start something, if you can understand that it's going to be 10 times harder than what you think it is, if you can just prepare your mind to understand that, you'll make it. And so before I left, and it was really scary to leave, I'm like, I'm going to get my own apartment in Irvine. It's expensive. Just for my business. Like, what if I don't have clients? What if, like, people don't book me? And I told myself, well, then I have to work 10 times harder. So yeah, it's going to be hard, but, like, I went into it knowing, like,
there's no failing.
Exactly.
Because you're a mom. Like, you can't fail.
Yeah, I couldn't. And I think that was the golden ticket for me, is, like, I put myself in a situation where that was not an option to fail because I had rent due on the 1st.
Yeah.
I have a mouth to feed. My son, like, he needs things for school, and his dad helps financially too. But, like, you know, it's still expensive to live in Orange County.
Yeah. Of course. It's expensive to live anywhere in California.
Yeah, seriously. And so, I literally put myself in a situation where it's like, there's no option. There's nothing to fall back on. Because when I moved out, I didn't have, like, a big savings or anything.
And I think most people, when they're faced with that situation, don't have a huge savings account. Most people don't really know how to prepare for it. And maybe you start to prepare for it, but in that moment, you're also fearing of the unknown, right? Like, what if I don't make it? What if I don't do this? And then that kind of tends to stop you. So it is kind of better that you were just like, well, I'm going all in because it's the only option and I'm going to do it. And it really worked out.
Yeah, it took time because I was waiting for my ducks to be in a row.
We hear that all the time. Like, I'm not ready to leave.
It's like, your ducks are never going to be in a row.
I was about to say
my ducks were crazy, okay? They were all over the place.
They were cracking over here.
They were quacking there. Different personalities.
You were like, okay, everybody get in line. We're going. And they're like, what?
And that's what I was planning. I'm like, when my ducks are in line and everything's perfect and I have this amount of money in my bank account and it's like, no. Yeah. And then it took one day when I was just like, I'm just going to go for it. And I believe that, you know, because it didn't make sense financially because I moved out in June, and in May, I was so emotionally out of it, and it was a rough month emotionally, and my income was like $1,500. And I moved into my apartment on June 15th. So on paper, it didn't make sense. And I asked myself, but is this the best that God could do for you? And I felt like, no, like, this isn't the best, you know? And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do this, but, like, I'm going to jump, but you better, like, help me build these wings as I jump, as I'm going down. And I really felt like God was going to do that for me. And so that's what happened. Because on paper, why would anyone move out?
Having everything paid for, having the stability, and it's scary. Yeah.
And you made like $1,500 that month because you just couldn't get to work, or, like, I was just kind of depressed and just, like, staying in the room. And then I was like, I can't live like this anymore. And so I moved out, and, like, I don't know, like, it just went crazy after that. Yeah. And now, like, booking one client, I can make that with one client. You know what I mean? And so it was like a big just huge change for me. And I'm still trying to process it.
No, it's amazing. And I think a lot of people process it like you're processing it.
When they're sitting on the chair.
Yeah, as you're just like going through the motions, because people are like, we're not used to looking back at our lives, right? Like you think like, oh, when you turn a decade older, right? You look back on like, oh, what did I do, you know, from my 30s or now on, or my 20s. But from one year to the next, your entire life can change.
Completely.
And you don't realize it until you look back. And you've probably been so busy that you've never sat on a couch to be like,
or no one recently has asked these questions where you're reflecting. And
On the drive here, I was like, I was thinking, I'm like, gosh, like, what if I was in a situation where I needed to move back in with him?
Yeah.
And I just thought like, gosh, it would just feel so weird. Like just being in that home and like being in the room, like, because I was living in my son's room. He was sleeping on the couch. Like that is literally how separated it was. Even though we would get along and like if I cooked dinner, everyone ate, or if he got takeout food, he would get some for me. We made it work, but it would just be so weird to go back because I've just grown so much. And for 7 years, I would go back and forth. So when I was away, I was living in my grandma's apartment, and she has a 1-bedroom apartment. And so my son and I at times were like in her living room, and I just didn't want to keep doing that. Even though it was a safe place to go, I could have gone to my mom's. I have plenty of friends and family I could go to. And I think a lot of women do that. I think that when they're in either a toxic relationship or marriage, they feel like the only way that they'll make it is if they go live with like family or friends. But it's like, no, just build a life and support yourself. And I know that sounds like, oh, easier said than done, but it's possible. Like if someone else can do it, anyone can do it.
And it's funny that you say that, because I feel like when people come into our office, like women, they're so like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, I don't have the answer, but I know you're going to figure it out. And they look at me like I'm crazy, but I can't sit there and tell them that because they're not in the headspace to listen, right? Like they're just going to be like, this lady just doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't know anything about my life. Like, how does she know that I'm going to be able to make it? But then I start to ask them like, what are you good at? Okay, you haven't had a job in 10 years, but what can you do? Can you the kids are in school. Can you go and, try to apply at the school? I know a lot of moms do that. And it's like, that'll at least give you a little bit of income. And then are you good at something else? Because nowadays you can do whatever. Like, you can make t-shirts and like become amazing at making t-shirts. You can make jewelry, everything. So it's just a matter of like looking internally and figuring out how, or that drive that you need to be able to make something out of your life. But in that moment, you have to only tell yourself. And that's literally what you did. You got yourself up and you're like, all right, we're out of here. And then look how much your life changed.
Yeah. I mean, I could have taken the easy route and moved into my mom's or my grandma's and just like coasted through life that way. But I want to be married one day. And I would like to set a life up that if something ever happened between me and that person, even, I will be okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like any woman should ever completely rely on a man, because you just never know. And if something does happen, you need to be able to take care of yourself, because living with family and friends is good temporarily, but you will get tired of it and you will want to not rely on anyone. And so building this life for myself was also important for that reason too, because like, yes, I want to be married one day and I hope I marry an incredible person, but things happen. And if something did happen, I don't want to be like, what am I going to do with my life? I'm going to look back at this era and be like, oh, I got this, So yeah, and hopefully that happens soon.
Well, tell us, are you dating? Are you on the apps? Like, what's going on with the life of Sabrina?
I tried. I recently told someone, get back to me in 6 months. Like, I'm busy right now. So I've tried the apps thing, and I just don't find myself going on there. It gets tiring, like swiping through people. Oh my gosh. Or when you do match with someone and you're like, okay, cool. It's like, then they ghost you, or you talk to them on the phone and then they're like cussing the person out in front of them that cut them off on the road. It's like, okay, like,
wow.
There's just always like something that's just not working. I really feel like I'm going to have to meet someone like in person.
At Starbucks, organically.
Yeah.
During a photo shoot, you never know.
Yeah, because I started opening up to working with men. So, yeah.
Like business-wise and...
Yeah. So I was working with just women first, but now I'm opening up to shooting men too.
Okay.
So men that have brands or entrepreneurs, personal brands, like anything. So maybe I'll meet someone that way. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's just a matter of just leaving yourself open to the opportunity, because a lot of women are so like, well, I just got out of a relationship. I don't know. I don't want anything. And then all of a sudden they open their eyes and they're like, oh my God, it's there.
That's what people say, that it's going to happen out of nowhere.
Least expect
It's
it.
just harder for me because of what I've been through with love, and also what I've seen as a little girl growing up with like my mom or friends, family. So I'm like incredibly picky. And I know everyone says they are, but seriously, like I almost feel like, am I going to be single forever? Because I just feel like if someone comes into my life, they're coming into my son's life too.
Yes.
So that opens up a whole new like set of qualifications. And my life is, I feel so good in life right now. I don't feel like anything is missing. So if someone comes, it's going to be like a bonus.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want anyone, I'm not taking care of anybody. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh yeah. They just have to compliment because and
Or
you have to-
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right.
Or add to it. Like I definitely, and it took blood, sweat, and tears literally to build what I have. And so I have to find someone that appreciates that, you know, and that works harder than me, you know,
For you to be on the same level.
or else it's just not going to work. I can't be with anyone that's like dragging me down,
Oh yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
No.
So it's hard though. It's kind of hard to find like people like that, you know?
Well, yeah. And I mean, especially since you're so busy, you're also raising your child. So
It's like, when does it fit in?
Yeah.
I was telling her that too, because even like when you're texting and it's like, okay, hours go by, maybe like a few days, and it's like, sorry, I was doing XYZ. But I think at this point too, everyone's so busy that it's not even, it's like, oh yeah, you just pick up where you leave off because we get it.
Yeah, I think that's it. And to be honest, this may sound kind of crazy, but I don't want to be like a boss babe, like forever.
Yeah.
This is my era now, but I'm not trying to like be like this forever. Like I would eventually love to have like a husband that I can like rely on and like just focus on like my son, maybe another baby. And like, I don't want to be like this boss babe forever. This is what got me out of my situation.
But I think that you can still be a boss babe and still have your family and have somebody compliment you. And
Yes,
and I think
because that's what you are.
I think it just comes along with it. Yes, and shout out to my silent partner, Anthony, our silent partner, who's always like encouraging us to do better. And we literally call him on speaker and tell him all the drama sometimes. We're like, guess who's going to be our guest speaker?
And he's like, that's crazy. I haven't been on it.
Yeah, I know. We're like, we're going to bring you on. We're going to bring you
That's
on.
funny.
I know.
Yeah, but so that would be a good balance.
Yeah. Well, because I think it's just life. Like you just have to find somebody that's going to be able to run through life with you. And I think that that's what's hard nowadays, because people build their lives and then they meet someone and they're like not willing to run right beside them. What do? Do you just slow down, or do you just leave the person behind?
Right.
And it's hard in that moment, but I think that you have to look internally and be able to say like, okay, no, I want this life. I want more, especially because I have a child. And now your standards are even higher because you have a son.
Totally. Yeah.
So
yeah,
what's
he's my driving force. Yeah.
What's your relationship like in co-parenting now that you left it? Oh no, we got some eye rolls.
We got the eye roll. Well, it's not perfect, but it's working.
Good.
And I, have learned to not be so irritated at little things.
Yes.
Just for peace, and he loves our son so much. And that gives me like, I feel, anytime he stays the night with him sometimes. I mean, I'm the sole parent. I take him to school Monday through Friday and everything, but he sees him during the week sometimes or on the weekends, and he's super safe and he loves his dad, and they're like best friends. But as far as like him and I feel like he was shocked when I left. He actually sent me a text that he said he was angry that I left. And I'm like, well, what did you expect?
But wait, like, did you just like leave in the middle of the night?
Yeah, I was. I did. No, not in the middle of the night.
Left him a note, like, see ya.
You know what? I really didn't want him to convince me to stay.
Yeah.
And so I did it in silent.
Wow.
And yeah, sure, maybe that wasn't nice, but also if he was nicer, then I wouldn't be moving out. So 7 years of on and off, like if you didn't have it figured out by then
how are you going to figure it out
how
now?
are you going to figure it out now? Right. And so he did tell me in the same text when he was angry that if he would have known, he would have asked me to stay. And I kind of felt that because I think as he saw me working every weekend, I was getting these big opportunities in like Beverly Hills to work with celebrities and things like that. I think as
She's talking about me. She's talking about us. Talking about us.
So I think that's when the respect changed and he had more respect for me. And I think he kind of knew if I left this time, that was going to be it. Yeah. And so that's why I left without saying anything. And it wasn't like in the middle of the night, all like dramatic, like with my son. It was, you know, he went to work, he has like a 9 to 5 and I just moved out that day. I didn't have much. I was living in his home in my son's bedroom and I had a storage with all my stuff. Cause remember it was on and off. So I never really fully moved all my stuff back in. So it was easy to leave. And I think he has resentment for that and maybe a little bit bitter. And so we've tried, like he came to my apartment on Christmas and we did Christmas with our son together. He went and woke our son up. And for me, it's whatever. I'm past it. I'm like booked and busy. Like I'm not thinking about my ex. But I don't know how he must have felt being in my apartment, seeing what I had built for myself, you know, because it is different between us. So it's not perfect. And we still argue through text, like about things or anything like, I don't know, like anything kid related. We can argue about things sometimes, like, you know, make sure he's only on his iPad this amount of time. And like, I don't know, stuff like that.
And I get that because people just want to control the situation when somebody's with somebody else, I think.
Yeah.
And what we tell people is like, okay, just be like, okay. And then you can let the kid be on the iPad as long as you want. Yeah. But it's just a matter of programming your mind to not like be like, well, why are you telling me what to do? Why are you trying to pick up fight?
Right.
But that's hard. It's not easy to do that.
We just had a client yesterday call in because she's in a whole nother state, actually.
Yeah.
A whole nother relationship. And I guess her child's father was trying to say, like, I need to know who, like, the children of this new person is, what their schedule is with their mom. I need to know X, Y, Z. And she was like, no.
What kind of discipline is in the household? And she's like, what does that even mean? Yeah, I'm like, he wants to know if your kids are going to get pow-pows. Like, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But yeah, is that intrusive? I don't know. But does it feel like it was necessary? No. So it feels like he was just reaching. And we get that all the time. And she was just getting frustrated. And I'm like, okay, well, just
like, what do I say? I'm like, you don't have to say anything.
Yeah, I'm like, just give him a vague response. But in that moment, it's hard because it's your life, it's your child.
Right.
And it's your child's father. And
that's new for me too,
it's easier said than done.
Yeah, like I moved down in June, so it'll be a year this June, obviously. And
so it's fresh.
Yeah, and I don't know like what luckily my ex is super clean. Oh my gosh. The guy folds dirty laundry and puts it in his hamper. Okay. So
what?
So
there's men out there that do that?
Shocking. Yeah. He was the one who did most of the cleaning, which is kind of funny. But so I don't have to worry about like anything like that. But I mean, I still don't know other things that maybe go on there that would piss me off, you know? But what I've learned to truly like tell myself is, look, as long as Noah feels loved there and he's safe, I got to let everything else go because it's really not worth me stressing over like things that are not in my control. And I will lose peace that way. And then I'm not going to be focused and I have to stay focused.
Yes.
You know, so I don't ask questions. I just know my son is safe. When my son comes home, if there's ever anything wrong, he will tell me. He never does, you know?
Yeah.
And I know that's not the case for everyone. So I don't take it for granted. But that's also kind of why I try to let things go too. Like instead of fighting with him, I'm like, okay, like I feel really lucky because I actually have like the most control in the co-parenting relationship. Like he kind of does what I say.
It seems like you do.
And
I
even
do.
more because we talk about this, you have a father who wants to be involved in your child's life. Moms, there's some moms that don't even have that, and they're fighting this man to see their child.
Like, come and take him to practice, please. I don't have anybody to pick him up. And it's like, oh no, I can't. Like, well, what do you do? You know, do you force someone to be a father? Like I feel like that's the most draining part about a co-parenting like dynamic for people. And when you have people that have two parents love each other, their tensions can get the best of people. It can get a little emotional sometimes, but at the end of the day, you have two parents that love your child.
Yeah, so I feel really blessed for that. Like I don't take that for granted, but I would like to give women like that advice if they are, because like I said, we were on and off for 7 years. There were times when I lived with my family that he was so upset with me that like he wasn't seeing our son for a couple months. I did go through that and it was painful and heartbreaking, you know?
Yeah.
He just wasn't in a good place like mentally to be involved, and it was far away and whatever. But so we've grown, we've come so far. I really do feel like praying about it will definitely change the situation. I feel like prayer is super powerful because I'm telling you, like it was not always this peaceful. But my advice is if there's a woman out there who is a working mom, who's fresh out of a marriage or relationship, or even just stuck in one, build a life where the only person that child can rely on is you. And if I were in that situation and my son was not involved, then I would be on care.com finding a nanny that I can pay, you know, at a reasonable rate. And it can be done because this business that I built, I drop my son off at school at 10:15 in the morning. I go to the studio at 10:30 and I leave at 1 o'clock and I pick my son up at 1:35 for school. That is when I work.
Yeah.
And then I edit at home with my son. So it is possible.
It is.
And if I didn't,
possible.
and if my son's dad could never be with him during the week or the weekend, then I would go on care.com and find like a person that, you know, would care for him and make it happen. You just have to make it happen.
Yeah, you really do. You have
know?
to tell yourself, this is what I want. So how can I do it? Even if I get an hour of editing or an hour of, you know, trying to figure out applying for jobs. Like I just need somebody to be able to help. But a lot of people don't want to ask for the help. And I think that that's where we go wrong.
So you're not gonna get the life that you want. You're gonna get the life that you deserve.
Yes.
And so if you want help, it'll come if you deserve it. And how do you deserve help? Well, you get rid of that mindset of like not like the pride of asking for help.
Yeah.
Once you let all that go, then you deserve help and you're gonna get it. So I think people really like sabotage themselves, to be honest.
I do too, because I think that, you know, people have family and friends that really would drop anything to help people. But then I feel like people think like, oh, I don't want to take advantage. Well, like you're only going to take advantage if you actually take advantage, not if you're doing this to one day build yourself up and then you can thank them and be like, look, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here.
Well, that reminds me, we just had a case this week as well where co-parents split up, whole new relationships, but paternal grandmother was because the mother lived with father, but then they separated, so she moved out. But the grandmother was very active on paternal side. So after they split up, mom was like, I don't want anything to do with dad or the family. And so grandmother was like, I've taken care of this child since she was born. And so she came to us like, hey, is there anything you guys can do? We went to court and we were able to get grandmother visits. But it's, again, if you have a village that's trying to not even help you, right? Just spend time with your child. Take advantage of the hours that child is with grandma. And the fact that grandma even had to go to court when you could have, I don't know. I mean, again, it's emotion. It's coming from an emotional place.
It was literally, and I think I said this in court, I said, we're not talking about the child not being safe. We are talking about adult conflict here. And grandma had taken mom in, even though her son is the dad. And the son moved out, started a new relationship. Grandma was like, you and the child need a place to stay. Come stay with me. So in all like reality, she took mom's side. And then for mom to get mad at dad one day and just be like, oh, I'm done. And literally she said in court, like, I just want my child to have nothing to do with that side. And grandma's like, but all I want to do is help you. And I mean, I could see how it was heartbreaking for her. But then I'm also like, lady, you work, you have things to do. Like, why would you not want to drop off your child for 3 hours at grandmother's house where you've lived, where she's cared for her, where clearly there's love. And it was just emotions.
That's where that quote comes in. You get the life you deserve. So if you feel like you deserve time to yourself, well, maybe if you were in contact with grandma, you can drop your kid off and go do your thing, go have fun, go to yoga, go do whatever you want to do. That's what you deserve because you're letting her in. Now, if you're going to be stubborn and not want that side to be involved at all, well, then don't complain when you're overwhelmed at home and you need a break. And there's no one there to help you. That's why you get the life you deserve.
And we have people that'll complain that, oh, I don't have anybody to help. I don't have anybody to help. I'm like, why? Like, what have you done that you don't have a village?
There's always help.
There's always help.
And it's really hard for me to hear people say that. I have friends that are in toxic relationships. They don't want to leave because XYZ. I'm like, you know, you're talking to someone who bought a folding mattress on Amazon that folded into 3 parts.
I want to be there, like when she says that somebody to be like.
And I unfolded it, and me and my toddler were sleeping on it in my grandma's living room while I was like coming up with these business ideas. That's kind of where it happened. That's where the magic happened. That got uncomfortable and not sustainable, obviously. So then I moved back to my ex, and then we started that whole, here I am, right? But I went through hell to get where I'm at. And I knew that I was going to have to be very uncomfortable. I really understood that. And like, I just understood that assignment. And like, I feel like if you don't, then it's uncomfortable no matter what. It's uncomfortable being in a toxic relationship. And then it's uncomfortable living with someone until you get your feet on the ground. So like, pick your poison, but hopefully pick the one that's going to get you where you want to go.
And I feel like we always talk about that at the office when somebody's like, well, I can't get a job. And we're like, literally anybody can get a job. I'm sorry. You cannot tell me you cannot get a job.
My response to that would be like, you're right. You can't.
Yeah. Because
and if
you
they
don't
say
want
why,
to.
then I would say, because you said you can't.
Yeah.
So that tells me the energy that you're giving.
Exactly.
The energy that you're giving me right now, I believe you. You can't. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah. And I'm like looking at them like, I don't want to work either. You think that we wanted to be here today?
Like even the guy begging outside of Target decided to make his little sign and stand there for hours.
Yeah, exactly. Like somebody is going to hire you. Maybe not at first. Maybe you just go in and start helping. Maybe you just do what you can to show up.
It starts with mindset.
Literally. Yeah. Literally, it does. And we were also talking about how when we were building our careers, we would volunteer all the time. And now people are like, they just don't want to work. And they don't understand the struggle that comes with getting to a place and being able to say to yourself, yeah, I'm going to go volunteer because I'm willing to learn from the best, even if that means that I'm just following this person around. And that's what I did for years.
My business blew up when I did a lot of free work last year, around between March and May.
Yeah.
I went to a lot of events and I photographed for free 2 full days. I was tired. I was exhausted. I had people telling me, why would you do that for free? My ex said, I told him, I thought, you know, it would be cool to tell him like, hey, I'm going to go shoot like at this celebrity event. But I'm not getting paid. And he's like, well, I wouldn't go. And I knew he was just.
But that's just the mindset of people.
Exactly. And I was just like, I have to go still. And I have made so much money from going to that event because of the people I networked with.
Yes. It's
I was about to say that.
Yes.
So you do have to like.
You are working.
Do things for free. And that time when I was living with my grandma during a back and forth, I actually went to the thrift store because I didn't have any money. I had just got let go from my 6-figure job. I was laid off. I didn't have any money. I went to thrift stores. I found some blazers and some stuff. And I went into small businesses, literally walked in and said, hi, like I'm building a social media management, not branding photography. I'm building a social media management company. And I had 9 yeses. And then I got overwhelmed and I hated it. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. But that is what led me to be where I'm at today. Because some of me doing video, I brought my camera sometimes and then I enjoyed that part.
Yeah.
But I went to, like, if you say you don't have money to get, like, I went to a thrift, I went to the Goodwill and I found used clothes. And my grandma was babysitting my son and I just walked into these places and I said, hey, I found you on Instagram and you can make more money if you hire me because we need to post more.
Yeah.
And they're like, yes, we've been looking for somebody. You literally walked in the door. Literally walked in the door.
Well, and I think a lot of businesses are so busy that they don't have the time to search up, you know, like branding people. And they don't even know where to start because a lot of business owners were not like, oh, I'm going to start a business. I need this. Like, I don't have a background in business. And for me, I was like, okay, I'm starting a business. So what do I need? But I didn't realize everything that comes with business, marketing, all of this. And so a lot of the time I'm like, we need to do this. And then weeks go by and I'm like, we keep saying we're going to do this and we don't. So if somebody were just to walk in, I'd be like, yes, yes.
Sabrina's adding us to her list.
I know, I'm like, yes. Start like taking pictures. Like, it's just putting yourself out there and people are uncomfortable with that.
People thought I was crazy for doing that. My grandma was even like, oh, you're determined. And I really was. And I was just like, I don't have money. I just got laid off. I'm living with my grandma. Like, I need to do something. And I can't go back to a 9-to-5 because I want to, like, I genuinely like want to be with my son as much as I possibly can, which is why I didn't want to go back full time. And so I just tried it. And when these people said yes to me and all of a sudden I had like retainer income every month, I was just like, whoa, like I wasn't ready for it. I was just like, okay. And that just gave me so much confidence to know that like I'm capable of like bigger things, you know?
And
so you just got to put yourself out there.
Yes.
So when people come to me and say like, oh my gosh, but if I leave him, he makes all the income and I don't know where to go. It's really hard for me to hear that or feel sorry because I'm just like, do you know like what I've been through? Like you can do, or if I give you advice, at least believe in yourself a little bit more because I'm no one special.
And even if you don't have a place to go, I mean, there are resources. I mean, they're not the best, but there's women's shelters.
Yeah.
There's places that will help you get out of this situation. And we will get calls from people that'll say, I want a divorce, but I need to know what I need to do because I'm not ready. And I'm like, call me when you're ready. I don't know hypothetically what to tell you when what your life is going to be like 3 years from now.
Right.
You need to be in that moment and then we can talk. Because,
and it's definitely a moment.
Yes.
It's a moment and everyone has it.
I just saw a TikTok where somebody was talking about what was the last straw in your relationship. And everyone was talking about like, it's something so little, but it was like things being built up and it was like, it was something
cherry on top.
Oh,
yeah,
that
it was
was mine. It
so
was
little
over
that it
a
was
fan.
like, yeah, see?
It was over a fan.
Yeah.
I'm all, where'd you put the fan? And I didn't like the way he responded to me. I was done.
The girl on TikTok was saying something about like, oh, we were going to couples therapy and then we were going to individual therapy. And then I was just, we were having a great day and I was just curious, like, what does your therapist say about us? Because I've kind of told him like what my personal therapist has said about us. And he was like, I don't talk about us to my therapist. And she's like, what? And she's like, we've been having problems. Like, what do you mean? And what do you talk about? And he's like, oh, like my business and just like me and what I need to do. And she was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was her moment. And she talked about it. And in the comment section, people were saying like, oh, he didn't take the trash out. And like all kinds of stuff where it was like, that was just it.
Yep, it was over a fan. Those like box fans. Because he lives closer to the beach. And so a lot of like townhomes close to the beach don't have like central AC because the air is too moist.
Yeah.
And so we have fans. And so, I asked him where the fan was and I just did not like the way, he wasn't all crazy or anything like that. It was just like, I could tell he was annoyed with me and I'm just asking for a simple fan. And I'm like, I'm not living like this.
And she's like,
I
and the
will
next
find a place
morning,
with
I was gone.
I will find a place with central AC, and yes, I do, and I put it on every night. 70 degrees. Thank you very much.
She's like, and I think about him every single time.
Fan.
Well, and that's what it's about. It's about like just telling yourself, like, I can do better. I don't need this relationship, and it's time to go. And whenever I talk to people and I tell them that I'm a divorce attorney, and everyone has questions, right? Even the people that have been married and are happily married, allegedly, I don't know, on social media, whatever. That, you know, like, what does it feel like? Like, when do people know when they're ready? And I'm like, I don't know. I think that everyone has their own moment when they just can't. Some people will go 3 years with feeling this way. Some people will go like a month and be like, yeah, no, I'm done. But it's more than just this person gets on my nerves, because people can get on your nerves all the time.
Exactly. And I do know if I get married one day, there's going to be issues, and that's normal. But what I will say is, like, if someone feels like they're in a toxic cycle, there is work that can be done to help you get to that moment. Mine was working with other women that have these like badass brands and businesses. And I was seeing them every weekend. And they were showing up with like their brands and like all their props. And I'm just like going back to like my ex's house, you know, and I'm just like, I was so inspired by all that. You were one of them. Aww. And actually at one of the shoots, you said something that really like stung, but it was so like profound for me. And I'm going to tell you what you said.
What did I say? I'm like, I tend to say a lot of things.
So you were asking me just about my life and everything. And I felt very open with you, because I normally wouldn't just like say that to anyone at that time. I was very vulnerable. Here I am on a podcast just spewing out all the drama. I've grown. But I did feel comfortable telling you that I was living with my son's dad, but we weren't together. And you did not like that. And you were like, oh, but no, like, get out. And like, you're confusing your son by living there. And that really stung me, and actually stuck with me for a long time. And I feel like that was part of the driving force, because it wasn't something that I considered. Because like when I was there, I'm thinking, oh, he has both of us in the same house. Let's like, you know, do this as long as we can. But you're right. Like, I don't want my son to learn that this is how love is. And he was still small enough, like around 4, where he didn't, you know, 4-year-olds don't know like about marriage and all that. But to him, that's dad and that's mom. And this is the way mom and dads are. And like, that's not true. Right. And so yeah, that was something that you said that just stuck with me. And it was a little bit of a driving force. It stung, but I needed it. And so I do feel like, you need people in your life that are going to tell you the hard truth, even if it hurts, because we need that, you know, we need that discipline. And I do that for people. And sometimes I say things that hurt people, but then later they'll be like, you were right, you know? And I feel like that's true friendship anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't want a friend that's just constantly agreeing with you or like enabling your bad decisions.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place to have those kind of friends. And maybe those are more surface level friendships.
Yeah, like, I don't want those kind of friends.
Right. But surround yourself with people. Like, if you want to be like this kind of woman, then like, and you don't have friends or family like that, do what you have to do to be surrounded by people like that, because who you hang around is who you will become, you know?
Now I feel bad. Sabrina's all leaving our photo shoot like, this lady told me all this. And I'm like, oh, thanks, Sabrina. And she's like, bye.
No, I feel like that was meant to be said. I feel like I was meant to meet you, and like...
I honestly always feel that way. I think it's people come into your lives when you need them, and sometimes you don't realize it. And you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, right? And I say that to people all the time. And I don't know if it ever sticks. I don't know if they understand, because I really truly feel like you have a child that's looking at you guys like, hey, you guys are acting weird because you guys don't hold hands, you guys don't sleep in the same bedroom. You know, we eat together, we hang out, but like, my mommy and daddy don't hug, they don't kiss, they don't do, you know, things that other mommy and daddies do. And maybe you don't think that they notice, but I will 100% tell you that they notice.
Yeah, and I don't want my son, I'm not going to raise a man
that's
going to to do this to his future wife. I would like to either bring someone in that can show him the way, and like we can show Noah what a healthy relationship is, or just through life experience, he sees it himself, but he's not going to see anyone like mistreating his mom, because I don't want him to grow up and think that it's okay. I feel really responsible for like the kind of man that Noah grows up to be.
I've told the kids that all the time, like whatever you do in life,
whoever his partner is, I just want my son to like treat them with so much love and respect, and I want him to have like that example. I just want him to have those like standards and morals for himself in his relationship. So I can't have that if he's seeing a toxic household.
Yeah. And I don't know if, it was necessarily that it was toxic, right? Because you were saying like, we got by and we did it.
When Noah was younger, we would like, it was worse because I just wasn't in a good headspace, and like,
there were more feelings involved.
There were more feelings. We were more, exactly. It wasn't so separated. Maybe like we were, but then we still would like flirt or like, okay, let's try this again. And it's just, it was worse when Noah was younger. 7 years is a long time. So there was a bunch of different like
things especially to be on and off. I think 7 years is a long time.
Yeah. And it was just a bad cycle, and I just wanted to break it, and I did. And now I'm kind of more, I feel like last year was like survival mode. And I feel like now this year I'm able to breathe and kind of just soak in what I felt.
Because it takes time. It takes every day by day, you'll get better. And I know we always talk about this, that I literally want to take a picture of people when they come into the office the first time, because they just look like they're just drained. Like life just literally drained them. And then we'll see them as they come in to sign.
You should do that. That would be a cool, like,
sometimes
trend.
She's like, I didn't even know who that was. Like, I didn't even recognize them, because months will go by and they will just start getting their light back. Yeah. And I also think that you need to just be able to work on yourself, right? Like, make sure that you're taking care of yourself, whether that means going full force into your career, making time for yourself.
Yeah, because when the time comes when someone else enters, like, you just gotta be good on your own, because there's no guarantee that they're gonna stay.
Yeah.
So just like be like, that's your best project that you'll ever work on is yourself,
And that's what inspired Drama in Session. A lot of people coming in to the unknown, and there's so many stories like yours where we want moms and dads to hear this and see that you are able to do it.
Yeah.
And look at all these experiences.
Yeah.
And that's going to be you one day.
It is.
And hopefully we'll have you on that couch too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes when people are in the middle of a divorce, they're asking the wrong people for help. And I don't know how it happens, because then they call me and they're like, well, my cousin's my cousin's friend's brother went through the same situation. And I'm like, let me stop you right there. No one's situation is the same. And I don't know why you're talking to this random person about your life and what's going on in your life.
So true.
Because it's so different.
It can hold you back too. I mean, I had people saying that I was crazy for leaving his, because we weren't really arguing. It was kind of going okay. And I had people say, why would you leave? Like, he pays all the bills. Your mom, like, your son sees his mom and dad together. Or before you leave, make sure you have like, 20 grand in the bank. Like, just all this advice that's not even true.
And then she's like, I'm leaving because this lady told me that I needed to leave when I was taking her pictures at the courthouse. She just said me to go on nonchalant.
No, it wasn't like, it wasn't, it just kept building up. I just keep seeing people like you at all the shoots. And I'm just like, that's like, if they can do it, like, why can't I do it?
And you did. And that's what the message that we want people to get or take from this is, that if your life right now isn't the way that you want it to be, you're the only one that can really change it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen overnight. It's putting in the work. Whether that means, I don't like the way that we are getting along. I think that we need to go to some type of counseling together. I think that we need to have more dates together. I think that we need to take more time to be together. Or I think we need to really talk about what our next steps are, because we're
either
not working.
If you write down the life that you want, you have to believe that it can actually happen.
Yeah.
Because it 100% can.
Yeah, it can.
But it really just depends on like how much you believe in yourself.
And manifestation is a scary tool.
And people think it's
The
cheesy.
vision board.
The vision board. Sometimes I'm like, oh no, I was envisioning this right now. Like I know I put it on my board, but like right now, wow.
Not how I thought we were going to get there.
And I'm literally like, I put a picture of Anthony and I, like, it's like a couple walking. Because I don't know what it is. We have these like walks together. And I feel like they connect us. We have 3 kids and a dog. We never have time by ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, we do date night, but then you're surrounded by people. So we do these walks. And a long time ago, we met somebody randomly. And this guy was like, I see the future. I rub off of the energy. I don't know what he said. I thought he was like crazy. But turned out that he actually knew what he was talking about, and he predicted so much stuff in my friend's life. And this is kind of what he does. And he doesn't really leave his house because of the energy that he feels. And I was just like weirded out by the whole situation. But I always reflect on what he told me. And one of the things was he literally out of nowhere, he said, you need to walk her. He told Anthony, you need to walk her. And this was, I don't know, even before I had Penelope. And I was like, walk her? Like, what does he mean? I think I just like left and went to go dance. And now I'm like, oh my God, like those walks, I don't know what it is.
Wow.
And maybe it's because he said that I associate more to it, or that I acknowledge our walks. But I think our walks are so important. So right now when all these other things are happening on my vision board, like that were not on my bingo card just yet, I was telling her, I was like, I put more walks with Anthony and we haven't even had any time. And so, but manifestation and just writing things down, being intentional is so like the way to go. But you have to really understand what you're asking for, because sometimes it's not going to be the easy route, and it's going to come.
It's going to be 10 times harder than you think. 10 times.
And even with us with Drama in Session, I mean, we kind of were just like, let's do this, right? And for a while, we were trying to figure out how to edit videos, and we were staying at the office for like 3 hours, and to the point where Anthony would call me like, okay, you need to come home. And I'm like, I gotta go home. And we were like trying to figure out how to edit, how to pose. And then things just kind of started happening for us, but it took a lot. And things like this aren't easy, but we realize that we enjoy it and we want to help people out, and we're trying to build something, but everyone just sees us on the video or on YouTube. I hope everyone's seeing us, but everyone just sees us thinking that it's easy, but it's not. No. It's not.
And you guys went into it knowing it was going to take work. And I think that's why it's going to work, because you guys know that it's going to take a lot of like time and energy, and you going into that means when it does take a lot of time and energy, it's not going to like hit you so hard, because you're prepared for it.
And I think that we create a space where people feel comfortable. Just like you said, you're like, I normally don't talk about it, but I feel like people tell us so much.
I went home and I was like,
I don't know what it is about her and I. Everyone just wants to tell us things.
Yeah.
It reminds me, yesterday we got a call. It was a dad who was trying to get a consultation booked with us. So I'm trying to gauge like what's happening so I can book him or not. What courthouse is your case in? It wasn't in LA County. So I let him know, I'm going to have to stop you right there. Like we don't service that. So he still kept telling, and I was like, I just told him, like, I can't book it. But he was still, and it's so hard to sometimes cut people off. But then I had someone walk in and I'm like trying to cut him off, and he was still talking. And I was like, okay, I already know where this guy grew up. His like everything.
She was like, I'll have to call you back.
Yeah. But it's, again, like, they're just like, okay, well, thank you so much. And I'm like, I did nothing. But listen.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's what people need.
Yeah.
Just to listen.
We are that for people. And I don't think that we really realized how much we are that for people, because people do tell us, like, I've never told anybody this.
Our clients
tell
yeah,
us
and
that all
also
the time.
just Drama in Session too. People are gonna, as they listen, they're gonna be like, "That's me."
And that's what we're hoping, that people will realize, like, and a lot of people don't realize that they're in a toxic relationship until they're slowly trying to get out of it. And then they're like, wow, it was bad. Because you tell yourself, like, it's not that bad. I mean, he pays for everything, right? It's not that bad because at least, like, we have a roof over our head. But, I mean, is it what you want? Like, no. So then it's bad. And people don't see that until the end.
Yeah, you have to ask yourself, is this the best that I can do for my life and myself? And a Christian coach one time told me that most people coast through life. It's more common to coast. And there's very few of us that will not coast. Meaning like you kind of want things to be easy for you and you kind of just go with the flow. But the people who actually don't coast are the ones that make happen.
It's me. Anthony's like, can we just hang out for a little bit? Like, can we have like a good 6 months of not like doing anything crazy? And I'm like, what do you mean? You don't want to buy more houses? And he's like, no, I do not. Just like for a little bit. I'm like,
and maybe coasting's okay, right? It's not like bad. But then you're not gonna get your Lake Arrowhead house, or you're not gonna start a podcast. Like these things don't happen when you're coasting through life.
No.
Now, coasting, I feel like there's a season for everyone, and we all have to have that season of coasting. But most people coast their entire life, and then they miss out on all these amazing things that they could have done for themselves.
Yeah. And we always just look at it like, you know, whenever things happen, it's like they were meant to happen. And then they're here. So let's figure out how to do it, and let's just keep going.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to coast.
And I feel like a lot of situations too, they just kind of land in front of us, and it's like, what do you mean? Like, this is happening? Yeah, do it.
And we're like, okay, let's do it. And I think that that's where we complement each other, where we're just like, okay, let's do it. And then even this morning, when I was kind of starting to get rattled, because I'm like, what time did we tell? She's like, okay, let's breathe, because sometimes like,
but even
if you said 10, I would have, you know me, I would have been fine. I would have just
spiraled, but I'm that way for her too. So I think, you know, it's about your support system and who you have beside you, because if I was always with somebody that was coasting, would I gradually just become more of a coaster?
That was me.
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah, and you surround yourself by all these amazing women. Of course you're going to be this.
Yeah, I couldn't keep coasting.
Yeah.
Not when I'm every weekend seeing these women who are not coasting. It's like, okay, it's time, you know.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming in to chat with us.
Thank you for having me
to tell us
here.
all about your life. I learned so much about you.
I know. I was like, I know nothing. Let's start this thing.
I know.
Yeah.
But honestly,
and that's a nutshell, you guys.
You're so inspiring. And I hope that like people out there listen to your story and they just get up and do something.
Yeah. If anyone ever is listening and needs some help, just get in touch with me.
Or if you need pictures, she's
Or
your
if
girl
you need
too.
photos. Let's start a new business and let's get your photos done.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Yes,
Bye, guys.
thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Drama in Session. If you're navigating divorce, custody, or conflict, you're not alone. At Reina Law, this is the work we do every day. If you have a Los Angeles County case, you can contact our office for a free consultation at 562-360-1588 or visit us at karinareynalaw.com.
If today's episode helped you, share it with someone who may need it. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and join us next time as we continue breaking down the drama, the law, and the lessons in between.